lot about the Los Angeles Lakers and how big or small the gaps are between the West's best. The Thunder and Lakers, they have the 2 of the 3 top records in the NBA since March 1st, alongside, of course, San Antonio. Not to mention, they have the 2 leading scorers in the NBA this season with Luka Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, history says the Thunder are 2-0 against the Lakers this season. Tonight, though, it feels like maybe there's something a little bit more at stake here, Brian.
Yeah, so, look, obviously, people feel a certain way about Luka and the MVP. This is a chance to go up against the reigning MVP, the guy who I believe is going to win it again. And, look, this is potential playoff situation. And so you have a team that has been the #1 clutch team in the whole season, all year long, in the Lakers, against the #1 clutch player in scoring, in Shai. I am begging for this game to go to clutch time.
Oh, my goodness. Please.
And I want to see it go to clutch time again on next Tuesday when they're here. Okay? And here's something else. Luka's got how many games in a row with 40 points? It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like 14 or 13 or 12. You know the Thunder aren't going to talk about it? Let's get a former Thunder here. You know they're going to want to end this streak. And by the way, they're fully healthy tonight. They're going to have their full team, all their perimeter defenders. They're going to have Jalen Williams. They're going to have their interior guys. They're going to want to stop Luka's streak.
They're fully healthy. The Lakers, though, are not. Marcus Smart's still out for this one. That could be huge because of his defense on Shai.
Oh, absolutely. But the Lakers need this win like old people need soft shoes. And I'm talking about a fresh pair of New Balance. Let me tell you why. Because they are 1-5 against the top 2 seeds in the Western Conference, the Spurs and OKC. Matter of fact, they haven't beaten the Oklahoma City Thunder not one time this year. So when you talk about the way, when we look at the way that the Lakers have been playing of late, Luka Doncic in the MVP conversation, LeBron James playing with passion. Now you're going against the champs.
Right.
This is your measuring stick. This is a moment where the Lakers could come out of this with a feel-good win so that the Laker fans, I could apologize to y'all and y'all could stay the hell out of my comments.
Well, I don't know that that's ever going to happen, Perk. You make it too easy. But earlier this season, I mentioned it was by like 29 points. I was in Oklahoma City for this one. I was on the sidelines, and LeBron James, he said essentially, they're a championship team and we're not. The eye test to me says that this Lakers team has changed, improved, developed a lot since then.
Tremendously.
So what can they show you tonight to say that maybe that gap, it may not be the same, but it's narrowed a little bit?
They can prove not only to themselves but to the world that they are a way better defensive team than they were 2 months ago.
It's all on that
And that's where it started. And people are giving Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, which they have stepped up, but I think it starts with the stars. Like, Austin Reeves and Luka have been scrambling and playing defense, sliding in front of guys, and that kind of has picked up their offense, sharing the ball, finding Luka's shooting at an unbelievable clip,
Western
averaging
Player
40.
of the Month.
Yeah, a couple times a week. So with him playing like that offensively and then defensively, them scrambling, they can show that they're really contention.
Luka got nominated for Defensive Player of the Month. Think about that. In all honesty, that's better than winning some other award. Like, Luka getting nominated for Defensive Player of the Month. That's never happened in his career.
And I think we're forgetting to mention a certain individual named LeBron James. I think he's going to walk into this game, too, trying to prove a point.
And LeBron, if he can get out in transition against a team that really tries to stop that from happening, all those fast break dunks that we've seen for the 41-year-old, if that's something that we're seeing, then maybe we're going to get the close game that Wendy and I here are just hoping for. We're going to have a lot more coming up on this game a little bit later in the show. But, Perk, what would it mean for Philly if they could avoid the play-in? Danny Green, he's going to explain how things are shaping up just right for the 76ers. And I hear you're fired up, Kendrick, about something you saw in Orlando last night. Oh, do not miss what Perk has to say about Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic. And is experience the only thing that's standing between the Spurs and a championship? Victor Wembanyama, he weighs in. He's averaged 126 points on Wednesday. That makes it the highest scoring day with at least 7 games played in NBA history. There was a lot of bucket getting, so we'll get you caught up on the action as we go coast to coast. First up, OG Anunoby. He scored a team-high 25 points. Karl Anthony Towns added his 4th career triple-double. The Knicks, finally, they snapped that 3-game losing streak against the Grizzlies. How much do you love seeing Cat take over? More of this, Perk.
I love it. I think the offense should involve him more. Mike Brown has to do a better job of running the offense through Karl Anthony Towns. He needs to know going into the playoffs that he's the second primary option to Jalen Brunson, and the Knicks will have success.
All right, next up, how about Paul George sticking in the East? He scored a season-high 39 Tyrese Maxey, he had 28, 9 assists. The Wizards were just smashed here by the 76ers. Yeah, Philly's 6th in the East, Danny. Avoiding the play-in, what would it mean for this group?
I mean, a lot, especially with the rest of Joel Embiid and his body. They need that type of rest time. Tyrese Maxey coming off injury. Paul George, he looks very different coming back from suspension. I know Philly fans are upset. Might be a little more forgiving right now. The suspension might have been the best thing for him, but this group needs that type of rest before the playoffs start.
Certainly. Rested is the best way to go into this time of year. All right, off to H-Town. Reed Shepherd, he scored 27 points, a career-high 9 threes. Sanguini, that's what we call him, added 25 points as Houston won their 4th straight. Brian, are you buying this Rockets ascension?
Well, when they don't always hit their threes, Malika, but when they do, it is magnificent. Their defense gives them a chance to win every night, but so often their offense lets them down. Reed Shepherd has been in and out of the starting lineup. He was back in the starting lineup last night. Their threes were falling. And when their threes are falling, they're great, but I don't know if you can rely on it.
How about in Utah? That's where Nikola Jokic recorded his 32nd triple-double this season. Jamal Murray, he poured in 37 points. The Nuggets, they won 7 straight now. So, Perk, what are you liking about the streaking Nuggets?
Oh, it's all Jokic. Yes, Jamal Murray has been balling, but Jokic, he looks in better shape. He's getting up and down the floor better. He's initiating the offense. And, I mean, look, they're finally getting healthy. Guys are slowly coming back into the rotation, and guys are playing at a high level.
How about in Orlando Magic? The Hawks, they keep on soaring. This is their 3rd straight win, 17-2 in their last 19.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, here's how they got it done. The second quarter, Hawks up 4. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he's been a big pickup for them. Knocks down the 3. Fired up after that one as well. Hawks up 7. And then Jalen Johnson driving. Gets a tough bucket to go there through traffic. Hyped up there as Orlando takes a timeout. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker again. Spinning.
Ooh.
Oh.
He's in the conversation as well for his most improved.
Most improved, for sure.
22 points in the first half alone. We mentioned this was a big scoring night for teams across the NBA. Closing seconds of the second. Hey, the bank, it's open. Think you call glass? The Hawks up 72-54 at halftime. And unfortunately, that was not an anomaly across the league yesterday. Heat check. Onyeka Okongwu gets that one going, plus the foul. Hawks up 23 after made 3 free throws. And then Jonathan Kuminga attacks the paint, gets it done. Let's take a listen to Jamal Mosley, none too pleased.
You know, you got to give Atlanta a ton of credit. They have our number in this moment, and they kicked our and that's what it is right now.
To be swept by the Hawks, what does
it means? We got swept by the Hawks. That's what it means. They kicked our There is no, what does it mean? What does it feel? That legitimately the Hawks have kicked our faithfully.
There were some boos and some chants directed towards you. What do you make of that from the fans?
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah, there was a thankfully that was.
No, he said,
that was.
I think he said faithfully.
Oh, faithfully.
Yeah.
Faithfully.
I've never heard that
Yeah,
before.
there was a faithfully thrown in there. All right, Franz Wagner was back for this one. So the Magic are 6-8, right, when Bane, Banchero, Wagner, and Suggs all play in this one. Perk, what'd you think of what we heard in the biggest issue facing the Magic?
The biggest issue is that the Orlando Magic has quit on Jamal Mosley. They quit. And if we go back, not from last game, go back against that game where they played Toronto a few nights ago. How embarrassing that was.
50 points.
And it starts with Paolo Banchero, right? It starts from the top. How many times this season has he come out publicly, post-game interview, and has threw his coach under the damn bus? He obviously don't want to play for Jamal Mosley, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's fired. Does he deserve to lose his job? Hell no. Paolo Banchero has to play better. Paolo Banchero has to be a better leader. That is the problem. He's been inconsistent. If you ask me, DG, Wendy, Malika, he has taken steps back. At the beginning of the season, after the postseason run he had last season, we was expecting him to be in the conversation
well, also adding
with the best
Desmond
of
Bane,
them.
right? Like adding Desmond Bane to this team, needing to have shooters. They just haven't added up to the sum of their parts, and they've been bottom of the league in offense and defense, and that's not really a good place to
and
start.
signing Paolo to a max and signing Franz Wagner to a match and extending Jalen Suggs. They've said this is our team.
This is the roster.
And they've, mortgaged their future draft assets to get Desmond Bane to win now. They thought they could, they were looking at it and saying, boy, Tatum is hurt, Halliburton is hurt, we can finish top 2. They're flirting with 10th. And again, I think, look, you're going to have, they've had injuries, but you lose by 29 at home in an important game.
You know it, DG. Like, come on, keep it real.
They've taken some really bad losses that are inexcusable. Shout out to Atlanta. They've been balling. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, off the charts, most improved.
We'll
but to lose by 30 at home is inexcusable. And again, I don't think it's Jamal Mosley issue. It's a player issue. They need some leadership in that locker room. They need some type of veteran, somebody to step up.
This is the type of year, unfortunately, the coaching carousel, it starts to turn. Are you hearing anything on that
In all
front?
honesty, it's dominated the conversations I've had within the league for the last month and a half. There's
Really?
potentially significant moving at the coaching ranks, and Orlando is a team people are watching. But I would like Danny, I'd like to say Atlanta, 17-2 in 5th place. Want to point out they have 2 games left with the Cavs. The Cavs are in 4th. I think almost certainly going to finish 4th. That's potentially a playoff preview. They've been defending great. Their perimeter is very strong. And really, this was it. This is one team going this way and one team going this way.
And it wasn't the two that you thought that was going to be going those directions when the team started. And you mentioned that matchup against the Cavaliers. We're going to have it for you.